Where have we got to here?
We said about whether the emotions are real, with particular reference to Helena, of whether her love for Demetrius is completely authentic, or whether it's actually, that kind of infatuation, something you can't have.
What did you say about that?
We said well, it could be, and also that it could be spurred on by that jealousy and that rivalry with Hermia that really kind of and drugs, so that Demetrius is still on drugs and this is problematic.
You know what I mean?
Can I flip a card?
Yeah, please do.
What's not being flipped?
I think we've flipped this one. Have we flipped this one too? Yeah. So, any one of these cards.
What if the quest for love was a distraction from what's important?
Well, I guess that depends on what you define as important.
Oh no, I was going to say it depends on what you define as love.
Well, both.
Yeah.
So I think love in the more whole sense, the quest for that is the only beauty. But it depends what you define as.
Yeah. The Greeks the ancient Greeks had how many words for love? Some ridiculous number.
This is what we need to do.
We were saying before that why don't we have more definitions? Why is it just the one word that's supposed to mean everything, whereas actually we will have a million words for other things that aren't half as prominent in life and society, but we've just got this one thing that is supposed to mean everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
I just think you can kind of, it always seems like every song on the radio that you hear is like about, I need your love, something, or it's the other extreme. It's like I loved you so and now it's gone, That is, so it's either craving or heartbreak, and so it just and it's also in all works of literature. Like 2,000 years ago in the Aeneid, there's Dido burning herself on a fire because Aeneas abandons herself, this kind of passion thing. So if you think that the personal is the most imperative thing to you, how you are secure about living your life, then distracts you from what's going on in terms of states and government and the political.
Is that what's important?
Yeah.
That depends upon the person, I guess. But I think it's important. What I would say is that love is important. If you get someone who you love, then you'd want that, because the idea is, I guess, once you get there and you've got your house and your 2.4 kids and the kind of the idea and the white picket fence, the kind of the traditional straight heteronormative, the white American capitalist version of harmony, then that life is complete and it's great. But actually, it's to make you more. If you've got someone you love and you really, really care about and really want to protect, to make you more and more interested in the political, and therefore they're both important.
Or more invested in the normative ideal, potentially. Yeah, because it does offer rewards within its own terms to be, to fit within that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it does. If you can keep yourselves, perfectly balanced.
But does that come from the idea that actually the normative idea to you? I don't know. Was it your question? Or was it?
That was my question. That's why the writing is so tough.
But I don't know whether it comes from whether the normative idea is something that you don't particularly want. So what has love got to do with the normative idea of a relationship, or what you just described? What does love have anything really to do with that?
Well, I think that philosophically speaking, but also entirely subjectively, my very personal feeling is that there is I think that there's an erroneous sense of conflation between that's not entirely erroneous, but I think that there is an oversimplification of the idea of love, and I think that there's this. I think that it is quite a capitalist model that love is something that one can buy into, rather than work towards collective ownership of. Because I don't believe that love is necessarily an individual thing. I mean, I think that my personal feeling is that love is almost a suspension of one's ego. But this kind of love is all about one's ego, and the kind of love that I think we see in
terms of the play, like think about it, like the rules that are put forward in the play, like. At the start, Theseus is like, well, you either agree to marry, or you get put to your death, or you join a convent, or you get put to your death, which is, in our society, it'd be like the most appalling treatment of anybody, that you can think of. But the lovers don't even question it because they're so obsessed with their quest.
But I suppose it's because what he's saying is it's not about love that he's saying, it's about marriage and partnership that has really nothing to do with love whatsoever. And these guys are obviously obsessed with being in love.
Yeah.
Or
but
infatuation.
I would say it's distracted them from something that I would say is quite unfair or unjust. That's in the framework that they're operating within. But of course, the play is not going to. It's just an idea for their psyches. It's not, they're not going to stop and hold a revolution against Theseus in this play.
That's quite typical of Shakespeare, though, isn't it? But you do have quite a lot of focus on certain couplings, which are with very high stakes, ultimately, over and over again.
I guess that's the dramatist thing, isn't it? There needs to be some kind of feeling of suspense and of making it really intense.
But then.
Go ahead.
But one could also read into it that, and we were talking about reading earlier, and sort of the idea of queer reading practices and sort of identification, but disidentification as well. So the relationship between queer and normative is not necessarily mutually exclusive. A lot of the time, the queer subject has to work in relation to mainstream images and ideas to be able to fabricate a sense of self. They just do it in a slightly queer way. But anyway, you could. I mean, my feeling now is quite different to when I studied Shakespeare sort of earlier in my life. Now it feels like it almost feels like satire. It almost feels like it's almost ridiculing the superficiality and of it all, especially in this piece, and also I would say especially in Romeo and Juliet as well, and Twelfth Night. It's all very superficial and adolescent.
Isn't it interesting that we of our time now have taken it to mean pure love, like Romeo and Juliet especially, which I mean they don't know each other.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they're like what, 14?
Yeah, it's like
she's 13.
13.
You have Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet, which makes perfect sense. Pretty much, who is telling them they're being stupid, which they are.
Yeah. But that is held up. That now we've almost taken that as the ultimate love story, and that's interesting. And based on what you were saying initially, I can't remember who was saying initially, that's become our ideal of love. This infatuation that they were so in love they died for each other. No, they were stupid bloody kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And that actually maybe there is something about Shakespeare was writing it as a satire on love that is not taken as a satire on, well, not love, on infatuation. Yeah, sorry, I've just gone into, but all the other things, but ignore that. Ignore that bit in my brain.
But yeah, no, all of the other things, I mean, you could look at it historically and in terms of the context of the time, and you could interpret it in a number of different ways.
That's really interesting.
We were worried about Helena's acquiescence to Demetrius at the end as well, given his treatment of her during
Hideous. And we've been talking about the ending a lot today, about whether we can even perform it, because it seems so wrong for both of them, like for now Theodore, Hermia, to just accept the fact that her lover has said all these horrible things and completely dumped her in the forest, and then just like wake up and be like fine and forget about it all and happily go back and get married, or Helena being treated like shit.
Almost sexually assault her at one point, doesn't he? It's like, you risk the rich worth of your virginity.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all of that, or do not believe, but I shall do you the mischief in the wood, and like all these kind of things. So we've really struggled with performing the ending after everything that we've discussed, to let the ending be as it is, because it feels like such a fake.
Maybe it is. Maybe that's the point, or it could be the point. Maybe it is bullshit, and maybe that's what you can, what one can take away from it.
Maybe it's the comment of love being that blind, of like, because I know I was in a very long relationship with someone that was very verbally abusive, attachment, and I couldn't get out of that. Like, however much that verbal abuse came, it was like, still here, still attached, still here for almost bloody decade, but still sitting there with that, because of that attachment, because of that little level of, it wasn't even infatuation, it was attachment. And maybe there's something in that between Theodore and Anthony.
Yeah.
Which one's Theodore, which one's Anthony?
Alexander and Hermia.
Theodore's Hermia?
Yeah.
Okay,
Anthony's like
But it's interesting in relationship to that, the question is the quest for love, diverting from what's important, because, for example, for Helena, self-respect and stuff like that is sort of being pushed aside in the quest for love. So she'll go into the forest, she'll compromise herself, she will take all these hits from this person in the quest of love. She will jeopardize the friendship of her best friend to gain the respect of the person that she's in love with, and like the kind of things that we will do for the person that we are infatuated with or in love with.
But is that true though? Like, would you say that as sort of such statement, like things that we do in love? I've seen it happen on TV programmes, I've seen it happen in films. I don't know a single friend that has jumped in front of a car for someone they love, or done anything kind of...
But they will give up friends. I know a lot of people like give up friends, or change the way they dress, or change the style of music that they listen to.
People get into a relationship and suddenly they're not...
not necessarily as big things as running into the forest.
In very sort of real, practical terms, there is domestic violence in the LGBT community, and it's a real problem. In the same way that it is a real problem, for heterosexual parents as well. The LGBT community has an issue with domestic violence because society has an issue with domestic violence, and I think that. And I think that perhaps that is something real that you can take out of this story of superficiality and infatuation and all of this sort of fakery almost, is that actually the human relationships are... sometimes people are so in love with the idea of love that they then are vulnerable to being exploited and abused by the
Which is
people
essentially Helena.
Yeah.
But I suppose is that love, or is that they're infatuated by the idea of attachment? Rather than,
But then again, it comes to this like definition of like, is it real because the person will feel it so strongly? Does that make it not real because we think it's damaging, or is it still real even if it is damaging, or is love only love when it's the comforting good thing, or is love still love even if it is attachment?
But then, you know, and this has parallels with a lot of historical and even current discourses on lesbian and gay relationships, same-sex couplings, in that you know, there's an idea of harm. There's an idea that being gay is somehow harmful, and that being in a gay pairing is somehow harmful to the individual. And it's not real, and it's just a phase, and all of this malarkey. So, you know, there could be some things to maybe sort of play around with conceptually in the context of this piece. There are definitely some resonances there.
Especially that about it, is it a phase or is it not? I think it's very played with because of the turns from, for example, the character that I played, Demetrius or Elizabeth, flipping sort of back and forth from having been in love with Helena to all of a sudden be completely into Theodore, to then going back to going, oh no, I am in love with Helena. And we've been playing with the idea of, is it just her having difficulties coming to terms with her sexuality, or is it a bewitchment, or what is it? Or is it just a bewitchment? Is it just, how do we want to play it? Kind of thing.
But I think sometimes people can be in those situations themselves, and like they don't even know if it's a bewitchment, if they, you know, or where they are with it all. You know, it can be really confusing to the individual. I don't know how much this piece is going to sort of look at that, like the confusion, because you know, sometimes you can just find someone attractive for no reason whatsoever, and that's really troubling.
Definitely. But you can definitely challenge like external circumstances and not feeling completely right or okay into an attachment, as you said, or an obsession with somebody else. You know, like where they become this symbol almost, you know, a cipher rather than actually being emotionally connected to them with as a person. But that's just, it kind of reiterates what you were saying. Like, is it love? Is that love? Like, because it's still one person that's completely in your thoughts. Or is it only love if it's constructed emotion?
I think it still goes back to the fact that we need more definitions for what love is, so that it would just make life a little bit easier if it didn't all have to be loved, and then you have to define how you felt within that love, and if there was an easier access to express yourself, maybe. And also, I think love has got such a heavy weight now. Maybe you don't want to go all the way to love straight away, but it's so much more than just being interested in somebody, or like.
But isn't it funny, like the social perception, or the cultural perception of love is very light and lovely, and yet we perceive that and we act upon it as something that is very heavy. We're looking for this cultural perception of lightness. And that, I don't have anywhere further to go than that, but it just...
Should we turn over another card?
I'm a little bit conscious of this being typed down, and I'm saying like stupid stuff everywhere.
How can an item of clothing have a gender?
That's such a good question, and such a, like, we've really been like going through all these things with like how we represent gender and how we.
You've been doing it already. We can go.
No, but not like that. But more like it's becoming really difficult. It's becoming really difficult. Like I'm really struggling because the more you go, oh no, but girls wear that too. Oh no, but men can easily wear that. And all of a sudden, that's what I mean when I said that everything is becoming a crazy blur. Because as soon as you actually start breaking it down, it gets more and more difficult to define it. And as soon as you, because I thought that I had quite a clear view of what I thought was male and what I thought was female, and no, I don't. And like, I mean, when you put it down to like an item, oh well, a guy will wear a hoodie. Well, so would I. A woman will wear a shirt. Well, so would he. And like jeans, whatever. Like all of a sudden, like a dress. Like a guy can easily wear a dress. A kilt is a skirt. As soon as you start like
other minds have dictated what you should wear, you know, in terms of like, you know, whoever's in the H&M buying rooms is going like that's for boys, that's for girls, you know. And then you go like the other day I was in H&M and I saw this jumper with like Mickey Mouse in it, but it's like in the girls section, and then my automatic reaction was, oh, I can't see the girls. It was actually I can, so bought it, you know that. It's
I think it's worse when it comes to kids'
clothes. They're going to come up and be like, that's from the girls section.
Yeah.
Going back to things.
I think it's worse for kids because it will have those prints of like, you know, like the toy that a guy, like a boy should like, and the toy that a girl should like. Whereas there's this clothing company in Sweden called, well, it doesn't matter what it's called because it's not going to make sense to anyone. But the only thing that they do for their clothing is patterns. And they range, like it would be stripes, for example. It would be colours like red and blue and stripes, and there would be no gender kind of. I think they make dresses, but like they try to keep it as neutral as possible. Because the whole point is, you're a child. You shouldn't have to know already that you are a boy, you are a girl. You need to do this, or you need to do that. Like you should like cars, or you should like this. If you do, then that's great. But if you're a girl and you like, you know, like the whole point is to try to keep it as open as possible.
But this is a very new thing. You know, actually, the way that clothes are gendered and toys are gendered, it's really, you know, something that's happened in the past decade or couple of decades.
Genderization of toys is really worrying. But all of it is really worrying, because but you can kind of see the Action Man Barbie doll, what they're trying to do, even though I don't agree with it. But then when it's something completely neutral, that is like, you know, like a prick stick, and it's like prick stick for girls. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry.
No. You know, I'm all for a greater availability of things in pink. But it's the way that it's gendered and marketed. Pink is a good colour, but it's not an inherently gendered colour.
Was there only in the 1940s or something that it was pink's only for girls because two department stores had a war about it. That it was like two department stores in New York. This is total tangent. Sorry. There was a number of department stores in New York that had a big argument that one said pink was for boys and blue was for girls, and the other said blue was for boys and pink was for girls. And it was literally a Christmas argument between these department stores which sold better, and that's all that it's about. And it was like as recent as like the 30s or 40s.
Fantastic, because it's a new wave on how you've been seeing something. Like even though you could think outside of it,
because pink was very much seen as a male colour because it's a very strong colour. So it was seen as a male colour, and blue is kind of a wishy colour, and that was seen as a female previous to that. And it's a very modern idea.
But pink has now been taken on as like the colour.
Oh, we found it.
I found the last one just by that.
There you go.
Blue was for girls, pink was for boys, nice and stronger.
Not talking out my bum.
Yeah,
1940s.
1940s.
Yeah.
That's it.
So in 1940s, we've decided this, and now we hold that as a truth.
Yeah.
And that's kind of scary as well, how quickly we will go from it being completely the opposite to going, no, this is how it is, and we will hold it as a institution for a society that cannot be questioned, because that will question our...
Capitalism. This is,
Yeah, exactly.
Put my little red hat on.
Yeah. Good.
This is department stores trying to work out what sells best.
Yeah. And convince you it's reality.
But with clothes, in kids' clothes used to be far more neutrally gendered, because you would pass clothes down between
whatever
children.
sibling.
They don't want you doing that, because you're not going to spend more money on clothes.
I read something say that it was like in the 1400s the word boy didn't exist, and
Yeah.
all children were called girl.
Yeah.
Like girl was just the name for a child.
It was something like a knave girl or
Yeah,
a
gay girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was how
What, sorry, say that again?
that the word boy didn't exist. The word boy 300 years ago, 400 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, the girl was the name for a child, and
I
knave
had
girl
no
was
idea.
a boy girl. Was a boy girl, was a boy, and gay girl was a girl. Or yeah, that way around.
I had no idea.
Yeah. But it just shows how much we've been desperately trying to gender. Like, when does the word boy come into play? When?
Yeah, where did that come from then? And why did we feel the need to change that?
Well, let's talk about going why doesn't the British language? I think there was an article in the Guardian the other day. Why doesn't it have a gender neutral pronoun? Not everyone likes using they.
We have one in Sweden.
Really, and in German as well. What is it
in Sweden? So he is han, and she is hon, and the neutral one is hen. But the thing is, then we had a discussion, and actually I think it was John who said that in British history there's been like plenty of times that people have tried to introduce gender neutral pronouns, but it's never caught on. And I like the Swedish one is fairly new, so I don't know if we can, like, it's been going for a couple of years and people have really tried to take it on, and schools I think have really tried to be conscious of it, but I'm not sure if it will last, so I can't
only a
say.
couple of years they brought this in.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
But I don't know if it will last, like, because I didn't realise that they tried here quite a lot of times and never caught on, so I thought because it's a thing, but maybe it won't last. But
I think that in Sweden, if I'm right, it's partly they've been using it a lot in play schools and things, because they want to promote gender equality by not sort of reinforcing binary gender through.
And it's just a habit. It's just a habit of using. Because the amount of times that we speak of non-specific gender, but you'll use he as a
Default.
It's really noisy when you go out for a date. It's just a habit of swapping that, I think, that will make it so much easier, unless you're specifically speaking about a female or a man. Just,
I mean, when I'm teaching, if I'm teaching class, I will go guys.
Yeah.
Regardless of the gender, that is kind of my default. Alright guys, come together.
So do I, yeah.
So I consider guys to be
neutral. Yeah.
Slightly
But
neutral,
I got pulled up on it by someone I was working with, because I consider it totally neutral. And she went, I hate you doing that, because they're not all guys. And also pulled me up next door to sound American. But I've changed it recently, and I've just found myself going, right, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't know where I've thought about it.
But ladies and gentlemen,
yeah, but you're suddenly
that is more like you are either a lady or a gentleman. Whereas guys is like you're
everyone.
together.
But you are using a male term to. I don't know. It's more. I think about it quite a lot. The fact that I have made a conscious change.
Yeah.
Folks is a good one.
Folks.
All right. Actually, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that.
People just sounds really aggressive, doesn't it?
Right, people.
or I just do my year 5.
Folks is great. Yeah. But it's interesting. But maybe again, like we got stuck in like these. I think it was John again, clever boy. Who was talking about, just as we're talking about, maybe there should be more definitions for love. Maybe there should be just more pronouns.
Yeah.
Like we're very stuck. Or maybe it was Harry. I don't know. Maybe it was you. I can't remember. Literally, like I said, my brain is gone. Somebody in the group said we've got too few pronouns because we've only got two, and if we use them more efficiently, we could express so many more things in how maybe we could express how somebody was feeling in not just gender as such, but also feelings or situations or something else within the pronouns. But we've only got male, female. That's the only.
And language defines how we think about ourselves and the world around us. So actually, if you remove, like I was reading about, I'm desperately trying to remember what language it is. I have no idea. Last couple of days we met a language that has no gendered pronouns at all.
Yeah.
And I really wish I could remember what it was, because actually.
Is it Finnish?
Could be. I wouldn't even.
I think Finnish doesn't Finnish.
I know nothing about Finnish, which is terrifying because I'm Scandinavian, but Finnish is like a completely different world.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't fit any of the other Scandinavian languages, and then there's Finnish, which is just like weird.
I know that Finnish is close to Estonian, but does it have gendered as well?
This is only gender neutral.
Interesting. So
Well,
I wonder
Finnish
what that
people
does
are
to your
pretty weird and awesome
consideration.
in the sense. They're just cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they say things like human being, person, business person.
That's
Pretty awesome.
But is it then the same? Because I know that Finnish is, I'm going into linguistics, so stop me on tangenting. Finnish is the same as, is very similar to Estonian and Hungarian, which are very patriarchal societies.
Yeah.
Do they have the same gender, because they're the only three languages of that same root? Do they have the same? Yeah, just out of interest.
Hungarian will have male and female, I think.
So it doesn't essentially.
Yeah, maybe.
But I love it how I've reductionist the whole thing down to the whole reason we have gender differences is because of pronouns. That's it.
Yeah, but I do think it makes like from like a very early age, because you learn to call somebody a so and so and somebody else a so and so. I think from a very early age that means that you differentiate between. So I do think it really makes a difference. You're taught that you are a girl by name, and you're taught that you are a boy by name, so therefore that's who you should identify with.
From birth, it's a girl.
Yeah, exactly. It's a girl.
That's how you're introduced to the world.
Yeah, and I think it also like it creates those kind of like boundaries, like, oh my god, you're friends with a girl, or like the other way around, like in Sweden, like they would say, like you had, like if you held a hand of a girl and you were a boy, like you got like the girl flu and like all these kind of like stupid things, like go on the playground because you've been separated.
Nursery rhyme, isn't there? Little boys are made of snails and little girls are made of
Sugar and spice.
I never wanted to be a girl. I think that's probably got a lot to do with my gender identification, not wanting to be sugar and spice and all these things. Didn't sound that fun.
Well, it's always been that.
It would be fun. Simon, it would be fun.
Snails and poppy, that sounds.
It's the patriarchy, and it's also actually that Helena is the one who is infatuated and obsessional, because in like ancient kind of classical texts, the woman was always the figure, like the female figure was always supposed to represent passion, whereas the male figure was supposed to represent thought. Thoughts.
Oh, thought. Sorry. Yeah.
But then if you take 12 Night, for example, Marlborough is completely deluded and infatuated. So
can I turn? Is that okay? I'm gonna turn this one.
So what sort of spaces do the relationships between characters occupy? What form do these relationships take? I guess this was sort of quite an abstractive question. So I'm thinking about the way that physical and psychic space well, the physical and psychic space between two people, between two lovers, that intimacy is formed in, and how that intimacy sort of manifests physically, and that the relationship of that manifestation to the space. I don't know, does anyone have any thoughts on that at all? Or is that just a little bit too abstract?
When you say the space, are you talking about the space on stage or the space?
I'm talking about the space between the performers, but also between the characters. The space between the physical bodies, but also the sort of perhaps more, in more psychic terms, the space between those two individuals and what it looks like. I mean, is proximity important? Is it a difficult? Are there different? Do the characters change shape with the enchantment, or does that affect
their relationship to space with the one that they
I think
love?
that what we found is when both Anthony and Demetrius/Elizabeth is in love with Helena. When we were playing out that scene, it became a struggle of who can be closest to her all the time, which doesn't necessarily look good stage-wise, but as part of the improvisation and trying to figure out what was going on, it became I need to get you away from her and I'll be closer to her, and then I got more of a chance thing. I don't have a point. Oh, I don't have a don't write this. I don't have a point. I lost my point. I'm really sorry. But it was definitely I do think that on stage it's difficult sometimes to remember that love can be shown from afar and not feel the need to be right in the face with the character that you're supposed to be connected to. But I think just in how we allow people into our personal space or not in normal everyday life, and to manifest that on stage, like Anthony and Theodore in the beginning, how close they will allow each other compared to when Anthony is bewitched and won't let Theodore at all into his space. It's quite interesting in when we decide to give up our personal space and when we don't on stage, because I think we can read that quite quickly as an audience member.